huge, huge star crush on him because he's so friggin' talented. And then he disappeared for a while, and then he came back, and I'm like, you gotta fucking do my show, asshole. And so he's here tonight. Please welcome Mr. Mark Davis.
Thanks, Larry. It was nice to be I thought at first on the flyer I had like top billing, but then I realized it was alphabetical. So. Del mezzo del camino di nostra vita, mi ritrovai per una selva oscura, scegliendo ritrovai era smarrita. Dante, via Ruth Draper, the mother of all monologists. Midway along the pathway of our lives, I found myself in a dark forest because the direct way was lost. Isn't it divine? My mind pads all that is painful by referencing it into something I can stand. It's the secret to my resilience. If, incidentally, a reference like Ruth Draper escapes you, feel free to Google as I speak. I don't mind. In 2006, my sister called, and my mother, I can't tell a story about my mother without giving my standard introduction. I'm the youngest of 7 kids born into a family of undertakers. One thing about my mom is she can't bitch about anything, because she always says the same thing. Yeah, try it out with 7 kids. Hey, for example, today I'm on the phone with her, and I'm telling her how I did this giant luncheon yesterday for 250 people, and I'm also preparing for this evening, and she says, yeah, well, try doing that with 7 kids. I'm like, Mom, you know, you don't understand. Everything I do is really feast or famine. The catering business, the entertainment business. Well, the funeral business was feast or famine. I used to want to go out there and shoot people, but you can't do that. You can try doing that with 7 kids. So, my mother, who'd been long diagnosed with COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, had recently been diagnosed with a severely infected uterus. After smoking for 50 years to deal with the 7 children she pushed out in 10 years, that poor uterus just wanted out. If it could have talked, it would have said, I have had it! My sister dramatized the whole thing, telling me, if I wanted to spend time with Mom, I'd better come up. Her health was seriously failing. And so I drove to Seattle, 80 miles north of Tanya Harding and 60 miles east of Kurt Cobain. I passed my hometown, Centralia, Washington. 60 miles later, I cut off at my birthplace, Tacoma, Washington, to take the Narrows Bridge to the land of sparkly vampires, bare-chested werewolf boys, and some serious old-school hammer horror, my family. Mom was home at her condo on Bainbridge Island when I arrived and not due for surgery for a week. She bossed me around as usual, bitched about my driving when I took her to Costco. You're gonna get picked up! The day of her surgery arrived. Now, when you're one of 7 kids, 4 is a quorum. This had turned into a great big deal when Mom went in for surgery. Everyone had worried themselves sick over this Super King Kamehameha hysterectomy. Nothing laparoscopic for this mother of 7, okay? We teased her, you know, we just made jokes about it as they gassed her and rolled her away, and then we went to the cafeteria to freak out. Now, my older sister Karen led the way, like Virgil leading Dante. And as we followed her through the halls of Swedish Hospital, it became clear that Karen had no idea where we were going. And I remember how we followed her blindly when we were children, just never caring where we were going, just enjoying the attention and minding of her leadership. Karen was always the fun sister, you know, the lieutenant mom. And suddenly I just needed to let my mind follow her like when I was little, you know? And this music started playing in my head. Louis Prima, Sing, 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 as performed by the Glenn Miller Orchestra. It's that thing. I just have this ability to make up little shows for myself during times of stress. So I conjured a Woody Allen movie, and we were wandering through the halls of a post-World War II hospital in Brooklyn. My sister Kathleen's arguing with my sister Karen, telling her she doesn't know where we're going. They're wearing snoods and shoulder pads. And now we're then ending into radiology and passing rooms I don't even think we're supposed to see. I mean, is there really an organ donor lounge? What the hell is that? Is that where you drink juice after you donate a kidney? We finally arrived at the cafeteria, and I had that moment where you realize that you really and truly have no more issues with your siblings from childhood. It's their personalities now that bug the fuck out of you. brother Scott and I can't take it anymore, and we go outside to sit on the grass on a freakishly warm Washington State fall day. We're lying there in the grass, grunting in monosyllables back and forth. Scott, you know, we call each other once a year, and usually the response is always, who's dead, you know. But happily that day the answer was no one. My mom got out of surgery and everything was fine. But since my siblings were all employed, I volunteered to stay with Mom that night. And I wake up in the recliner in the middle of the night to the sound of my mother vomiting. Projectile vomiting. Like Linda Blair, projectile vomiting. I mean exactly, like sitting straight up and bile shooting straight out. See, somebody forgot to mention that a side effect of an old lady having her desiccated and infected uterus out was colon adhesions. Now, a lot of you out there might be doing what I used to do, wondering, how would I deal with that? Will I deal with that? When that joyous moment of middle age comes and you find yourself on the third level of hell and your mother is projectile vomiting. Let me put it this way. The fact that I'm self-centered enough to think that I'm the most self-centered person I know proves that I'm the most self-centered person I know. I mean, you're going to have to get up a lot earlier than me to beat my level of narcissism. Me, the self-centered LA comedian, actor, writer, waiter, hooker thing, just close my eyes and think up a puke. You just do it. You do it on autopilot. You don't think about it, and you don't need to. And if I did what I'm supposed to do, you will surely do the same. Now, after she was done puking and I cleaned her up, the nurse inserted an NG tube down into her nose, into her gut, and I watched a steady stream of bile was pumped into a canister hanging over the bed. That night, along with my mom, I, the youngest kid in the family that no one ever trusted with anything, that got blamed for everything, that was at the bottom of the slugging tree, I and my mom together made the call that she had to go back into surgery the first thing in the morning. I chain smoked in the smoking area. I think it was there on the 5th layer of hell, smoking cigarettes with patients from the cancer ward, and my mom in surgery complicated by COPD. Then I really got the idea, it might be a good idea to quit smoking. After the colon blockage was cleared, how often in your life do you get to start a sentence with that? After the colon blockage was cleared, it was all about waiting for my mom to poop. Well, you know, phone calls and emails and texts flew back and forth between me and my siblings. Did she poop? Did they hear bowel sounds? We're waiting for her to poop. She hasn't pooped yet. She might be pooping. She had a fan poop there. Good bowel sounds. She's going to go to the bathroom. She looks like she's going to poop. She's almost there. She's pooping. She's pooped. And we're all. And we went home. And she slowly recovered. Those are the facts. But what it felt like was this. I took my mother to the hospital for what was supposed to be a simple procedure. There are no siblings in this version because I can never feel them. Like if we were sparkly vampires, we all had this psychic connection with our maker, my mom, but our progeny cannot read each other. That's actually an Anne Rice device, but anyway. So, you know, the hospital mom was sunny and smiling and cooperative when she camped out with me in the hospital room the night before her surgery. She was all in muted lavenders and mauve, like the eyeshadow palette of the makeup artist at the Golden Girls. Come on, that was good work. The next morning, she's cheerful and funny as she's rolled into surgery. And now she's rolled into surgery, unknown to all of us. Space seeds floated into the hospital. Just as her uterus was removed, the space seeds entered her body. These evil space seeds started to change her DNA and turn her into something else. Something alien. Something frightening. Something... a giant, tentacle, brain-sucking alien intent on draining all my energy and making me think of someone besides myself. You can't scream when you can't breathe on planet me. First, we didn't notice much difference. There were maybe more tubes running out of her body every time we came in the hospital room, but those were all medical, weren't they? Next, it seemed as if strange bio-interfaces were growing from her body, like a mildew taking over the room. But whatever it was, she was becoming. Convinced anyone that walked into the room that everything was normal. And by the time anything noticed that anything was really wrong, she had become a terrifying, life-sucking beast, wrapping a tentacle like umbilical cord around my neck and flailing me back and forth across the room, screaming, "I wiped your ass and now you'll wipe mine!" And then finally, I walked into the room. It was all over. There she was, sparkly and pretty and normal and ready to go home. "Mom, we gotta go. I got the card up the park with the patient loading. We gotta pick up your scripts and catch the ferry." "Yeah, we'll try doing that with 7 kids."